Now, step one is to go to your window tab or search bar and type Paint 3D. And once you type that, you should be able to have this pop up. And once you click on open, we have the software that is going to be displayed like this. So in here you can either open or create new. You have a couple of nice instructions to be aware of, and also there's 3D collections that are going to be available to you. So what I'm going to do here is to click on new, and once I click on new, I'm going to have this particular main playground to be able to add and remove and position things with respect to the 3-dimensional take. For you to look closely, couple of interesting things to keep in mind is that when you want to save something, you go to menu and you'll be able to save couple of things, or insert a couple of things, or in print if you want to, or share if you want to. Other things as well to keep in mind when you go back is this main menu right here, and this menu, once you click on each of them, you're going to see the details on what tools are available on the right side of your screen. So in this case here, once I click on 2D shapes, this is what I get. You can manipulate things with line and curve. You can also introduce 2D shapes of various types and also many icons, but quite limited, I'll put it that way. Now another one here is 3D. In here, a couple of interesting things to keep in mind is if you have a pen, it is really fun to be like, for example, these, or on your screen you can be able to draw things effectively and transform them into 3D. Other things that are available includes already established 3D objects or shapes, and in here we have 3D models that are present right here. Other interesting mentions here is that at the bottom we have color code. You can change the texture of your color, in this case by using this, and once you have a gloss, or you have dull metal, or you have polished metal, whatever part you click, you're going to see a different feel on what your color is going to look like specifically. If you want to add color, all you do is you have this, and you have spectrum of colors to choose from, and once you click on any one, you'll be able to pick the right one of your choice and click on OK, and that will be incorporated right in this. Now next is stickers. So we have to cancel, and we're going to go to stickers, and what we see are a couple of interesting things to be aware of in terms of what the stickers that are available, not only in terms of background but also in terms of little bit of emojis or icon. Quite limited, I must say, but there are more things hopefully to be introduced down the road. Now next here is in terms of text. We have a couple of interesting text to be aware of. We can actually put it in 2D format, or in this case we have 3D text. Once you click on 3D, nothing really changes compared to that of 2D. The only thing here is that we're going to have background to be removed when it's 3D, but 2D we have background fill. Other things here is the style of your image or your text. There are numerous styles that are of great interest to you. If anyone is of great interest to you, you can go for it, absolutely. And another one here is the size of your text. If you want to increase the size or decrease the size, you go for that. We have the color of your text. This is not background for sure, but if you want the background fill, all you do is click on this and you're going to choose the background color of your choice. And other things here is whether you want to put it on the far left or insert at middle for your text within the box, or on the far right starting in within the box. You can go for that particular method. Now we're done with text. The next thing here is looking at effects, and in effects we have a couple of interesting things to be aware of. Before we dive into this, you can use your mouse and drag wherever position that you want, either up or down, and most importantly there is another Canva that will be of great importance that we're going to talk about. You'll be able to move or zoom in and zoom out, and once we zoom out we'll be able to see the full Canva of your playground. And so once we have this, we can now see what happens when you change this particular effects of your background. We have this as your background. There are other things as well to be aware of in terms of various ways by which you can change the color of your choice, and whichever one that pleases you, go for it. Absolutely. And so those are the things to keep in mind for this here. We can change the look of or reverse the color of your background relief to the Canva, and it's quite impressive to see how that plays out in here. Now going back to default, we are going to move on to the next one, which is the Canva of interest. Now you can show your Canva or remove your Canva by using that particular icon. Another one here is transparent Canva. If you click on this, it is more transparent. If you don't click on it, it is visible. Now other things here, for example, if you want to change the width and the height of your Canva, you can go for that. In this case is lock aspect ratio, then you don't need to change that as well. If you want to resize image with Canva, you can play around with that as well. Unclick it, or you click it, of course. Pixel, in terms of percent, you can go for that, and once you click on that, it shows you the percent of your pixel in this case. Other things here is that if you want to rotate or flip, you can go for that. This is rotating, and once you click on that, we can rotate it to that position or back to where it was. Likewise, this right here and back to where it was. If you want to flip, you can flip it horizontally or vertically. So in this case, it doesn't really make any impact or change anything at all. But other than that, next and the final one here is 3D. A couple of great things to be aware of, various interesting materials, objects of your choice. And if you want to build one, definitely you can build one, but there are numerous things that may be of great importance when it comes to building a classroom, like we're going to do next. And so those are the things to keep in mind. Other things that, for example, on the far right of your screen are a couple of things to do. In this case, paste or undo or go to history, or in this case here, you can change this from just, your text on what it is to just the icons of what they mean. So it doesn't really matter at all which one that is great for you. As soon as you start playing around with this, there's some cases where you don't like what you just added, you can redo by clicking on this, and it should be activated in this particular case. Finally, here is in terms of mixed reality. This actually comes in when you start populating your Canva with important information. And finally, here we have 3D in here view, in this case, where you can include this in terms of viewing it in 3D mode. So a couple of things to keep in mind also is zooming in and zooming out, like what we saw right here. You bring this closer or away, whichever one pleases you, you go for that. And there are more options here available when it comes to Canva options. Show interaction control, we have reset view, or take screenshot. So these are the wonderful interface. This is the interface of your Paint 3D, and on our next task we'll be able to play around by introducing images and 3D objects, and also putting it in the right place, the right position, so that it has that feel that we actually looked at, which is this final result right over here. So let's dive into this.